Hey, what is up, everybody? I'm here to give you guys my WWE 205 Live review for June 6, 2017. We had Corey Graves and Tom Phillips on commentary for this show, and we had the first match. It was Noam versus Cedric Alexander. Before the match, Noam cut the promo talking about how Cedric Alexander won't just move on from Alicia Fox, how she's moved on and she's with a great guy, and how she's home recovering, from the mixed tag match at Extreme Rules, and he says that he's going to teach Cedric Alexander a lesson once and for all. And then we have the match itself. I thought this was a decent match. I thought they've had better matches before, but this match was decent. Cedric Alexander pretty much out-wrestles Noam throughout the beginning of the matchup, and then, Cedric Alexander throws him onto the outside. He throws him into the barricade. Gets the upper hand for a little bit. He goes to throw him into the LAD board that's across the apron. But Cedric Alexander was able to catch himself on the apron and hit a moonsault on him. And then eventually he goes to hit a move off the top rope. Noam hits a shin kick and he lands face first. And this allows Noam to take control. He starts working over the injured hand of Cedric Alexander. He actually does this move where he really presses it down and stomps on it, which I thought was cool. And Noam starts to take control, but then Cedric Alexander starts to make his comeback. He hits an enziguri and then a springboard clothesline covers him. Noam kicks out. Noam and Cedric Alexander reverse exchange roll-ups. Noam tries to hit a roll-up using the ropes, but gets caught. Then eventually Cedric Alexander goes for like the backflip kick, but Noam hits a kick to the ribs, and then he kicked right to the gut, completely knocking the wind out of him, covers him. Cedric Alexander kicks out again, and then Noam goes for the enziguri out of the corner. Cedric Alexander counters into the lumbar check for the win, and afterwards he tells Noam that he's moved on and he should too, or there'll be consequences. So I'm guessing this feud's not over yet. Just god damn it, I really hope this feud's over. And they can just move past this. Cedric Alexander and Noam had the blow-off match. And you have the stuff that happened at Extreme Rules. Just let the feud die just let this whole Alicia Fox storyline die. If you still want to keep Alicia Fox as Noam's valet, fine. Just stop putting up the goddamn fucking storyline because it's terrible. And then we had a video package for TJP. And it shows him winning the Cruiserweight Classics and becoming the first ever Cruiserweight champion. And he talks about how originally he likes to be an inspiration to everybody that got told that they couldn't be a WWE superstar. And then he talks about how he's cocky because if you believe for a second that your opponent's better than you, then you have no business doing this. And this video package works so much better now that he's a heel, so I think that's awesome. But then later on in the night, TJP gets interviewed, and he talks about how when he won the Cruiserweight Classics, he became the first ever Cruiserweight champion. He was doing it for the fans, but tonight he's not doing it for them anymore. He's doing it for himself. And he talks about how now Neville has a TJP problem, and he says that this division was created for him so he could showcase his skill, and he plans on doing that tonight when he defeats Neville for the Cruiserweight Championship. I thought overall TJP cut a solid promo. Then we had the next match, Louie Valle versus Mustafa Ali. Pretty much a squash. Mustafa Ali hits the rolling neckbreaker, then he goes to hit the inverted 450. But then Drew Gulak comes out and talks about how this is a no-fly zone. He says it in a bullhorn, has that sign that says no high flying. And this distracts Mustafa Ali. Valle tries to steal the win with a roll-up, but then Mustafa Ali reverses it into a roll-up himself and wins. And Drew Gulak's all shocked and happy about this. And Drew Gulak talks in his bullhorn and talks about how see what happens. You just use your technical wrestling and we're able to catch a victory. He talks about how he doesn't need to do all these high flying moves, because all that does is please the fans, and they just end up losers because they wish that they were like us. And he offers Mustafa Ali a chance to join him in his crusade to get rid of high flying on 205 Live. But before he can finish his sentence, Mustafa Ali hits a rolling Cena senton on the outside onto Gulak, and then he kicks the sign and just completely kind of destroys it. I thought, this was actually pretty good stuff. I'm still liking the Mustafa Ali Drew Gulak feud, so I'm enjoying it. Then we had a video package for Rich Swann talking about everything that he's ever done in his WWE career and his personal life. You guys already know it because I've talked about it before, so I'm not going to discuss it again. And then Rich Swann and Akira Tozawa are backstage, and they're talking Japanese to each other. And Titus O'Neil comes up, which was kind of cool in a way to see somebody like him be on 205 Live, since he's not really like a cruiserweight. And he's somebody that, the mainstream, the people that maybe would be seeing 205 Live for the first time would know. And he asked Rich Swann if he could talk to Tawaza. He actually calls him Tawaza real quick, and then Rich Swann's like, it's Tozawa. And he's like, yeah, whatever. And Titus O'Neil offers him a chance to be a part of the Titus brand. He pretty much tries to butter him up, talking about how Apollo Crews says that he would be a nice addition to the Titus brand. He talks about how Akira Tozawa's got a great moveset, and he's charismatic, and he talks about how that when he hears that, he hears chin, 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 because that can make him some money, and he gives him a week to think about it. So I'm guessing Akira Tozawa is going to say no. But this is kind of cool in a way that they're doing this storyline with Tozawa, not because I like the storyline, but this gives a chance for one of the cruiserweights to work outside the division. And I just think that's pretty cool. So I liked it. And then we had the main event. It was a Cruiserweight Championship match. Cruiserweight Champion Neville versus TJP. Before the match, Neville gets interviewed backstage, and he pretty much talks about how he just used TJP to have him fight his battles for him, pretty much. And, once he outlived his usefulness, he dropped him, and he talked about how TJP is just like all these other pretenders in the Cruiserweight division. They're not on his level, and he's going to go out there and show TJP why he's the king of the Cruiserweights. I overall thought this was a enjoyable promo. Then we had the match. I did enjoy the match and stuff because this was a match that did have at least a couple of months of story behind it. You had TJP, who did win the first ever Cruiserweight Classics, and you could kind of feel like he was frustrated by Neville being the Cruiserweight champion because he was kind of shafted. You had Neville, who was upset that he wasn't part of the Cruiserweight Classics, and you have the alliance that they've had for the next couple of months. I kind of wish maybe in a sense they would have waited to do this match, maybe on a pay-per-view or something. But I can kind of, because this match, you could argue, had the storyline to do so. You could have had them continue to be in an alliance. And then you have TJP finally say, let's talk, that he's taking care of Neville. And then you could have really built to this match, but I guess they wanted to do it here. But let's be honest, without this match, I think 205 Live probably would have been an average show. So this match really helped. It wasn't like it was a bad show, but this match really helped save this episode. But we had the match. Neville and TJP start chain wrestling each other. TJP gets Neville into the sharpshooter. Neville gets to the ropes. Neville destroyed TJP for a couple of minutes, but then TJP puts him in the triantula in the corner. Then he goes to go off the top rope, but Neville knocks him off the apron. He throws him into the barricade a couple of times, and Neville pretty much destroys TJP throughout the rest of the matchup. TJP tries to hit a kick to the ribs on the outside to make a comeback, but Neville is able to stop it. He drops him face first onto the announcer's table, and he tries to get TJP counted out. TJP is able to get back in the ring, and Neville dominates the matchup. He hits a missile drop kick on TJP. Then he goes for a second one. TJP moves out of the way. TJP starts to make his comeback. He goes for a detonation kick, but Neville holds onto the ropes and hits a super kick on TJP, covers him. TJP kicks out. Then Neville goes for the moonsault off the second turnbuckle, but TJP moves out of the way, and then TJP starts to work over the leg of Neville, which was the leg that he ended up getting injured about over a year ago, which the commentators really didn't talk about, which I kind of hated. And he tries to go for the knee bar. Neville fights out of it. Then TJP really gets him into the knee bar. You think Neville's going to tap out, and I actually kind of thought that myself. But then Neville's able to reverse it into the Winds of Saturn, and TJP taps out. Neville wins and retains the Cruiserweight Championship, and then that was the end of 205 Live. But the question I have now, so you've kept the Cruiserweight Championship on Neville. I'm obviously fine with that. He's my favorite champion on the main roster at the moment. And I can understand totally why they kept the Cruiserweight Championship on him, because you have Neville, who pretty much has saved the Cruiserweight division. He's really, pretty much the Cruiserweight division falls on the back of Neville. But the question that I have is, who's going to defeat Neville for this title? Just because of the fact that, you really don't have any other Cruiserweights that have been built up enough to take that Cruiserweight Championship from Neville. You know, you've thrown opponents at him, and he's defeated them all. So who's going to take this title from Neville? That's, a question. But I can kind of understand. I like the fact that they're keeping the championship on him. It shows that he's a nice, dominant champion. You really don't need to take the title off him. You're the Cruiserweight division. He's really helping making that Cruiserweight division really mean something. You could just keep throwing opponents at him. If you want, you could even probably keep this championship on him maybe till like WrestleMania 34 or something. Finally have him drop the title there, or have him drop the title at the Royal Rumble, where at the event where he originally won the Cruiserweight Championship. You have a lot of options, but right now there's no need to take the Cruiserweight Championship off Neville. He's doing some great things with that championship, being a nice dominant champion. He's really kind of made the Cruiserweight division, like I said, his own. So I'm fine with him still being the Cruiserweight champion. Overall, I thought 205 Live was a pretty decent show. Nothing fantastic, but I thought this was decent. So I'd probably give it like a 6.5 out of 10. I enjoyed the Cedric Alexander Noam Dar match. I thought that was a decent match. It really wasn't complicated by the story behind it. They actually just went out there and wrestled a match. I like what they did. I like what they did with the Mustafa Ali Drew Gulak feud, putting that over. And I thought they had a pretty good Cruiserweight Championship match on this show. So overall, I thought this was a decent episode of 205 Live. Now I'm going to give you guys my star ratings for each match. For the Cedric Alexander Noam Dar match, I'm probably going to rate that match 2.5 stars, because it was just kind of, an alright fun match to open the show, but nothing fantastic. White person went over as well. For the Louie, Valle, Mustafa Ali match, probably going to give that match maybe like, probably 1.5 stars. It was a squash match that did what it needed to do. And then for the Cruiserweight Championship match, I'll probably give that match 3 stars. I thought that was a good match. There was points where I got into it, and the right person went over in the right way. I'm actually pretty happy that TJP didn't beat Neville for the Cruiserweight Championship, just because TJP has no business having the distinction of beating Neville. He's not the right type of opponent to do so, and since he's still a heel, it needs to be a big baby face that's going to take the Cruiserweight Championship off Neville, so it made sense. But that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please make sure to subscribe to my CM Brothers YouTube channel. I'm probably going to upload a video on there later on tonight. And then please make sure to subscribe to my Owen the Talkinator channel. I'm possibly thinking about uploading a video on there in a couple of minutes. I'm not sure yet. And then make sure to subscribe to this channel for future content. And that's pretty much it, guys. Talk to you later.